Welcome to the Bearded Banter podcast, where we'll discuss everything gaming. So sit on back and listen up. Get your headphones ready, we're gonna discuss video games, it's gonna be fun. A no time for everyone. Wow!
Hey there, boys and girls, it is I, the Bearded One, and welcome to episode 26 of the Bearded Banter podcast, a gaming podcast where, special video edition once again, not anything too complicated like the last one, because, you know, see, I would go all out, like we did last time. It's just that we're recording this on Friday, and this has to be out for Monday, so I wouldn't have enough time to get it together.
You don't want to go to the effort.
Yeah, because the last time, we did the video, but we also did the gameplay as well. Make sure you don't spill that.
Okay. Oh, hey, code product placement. YOLO.
But, last time we did the gameplay along with the video, and I had to edit that in Sony Vegas. We recorded on Wednesday, I edited it on Thursday, rendered it on Friday, and I actually uploaded it Saturday. So, it literally took me all of Thursday and Friday to edit and render. So, if I had done that today, it would not be out for Monday.
Yeah.
So, just, you can look at our beautiful faces and know exciting games. So anyway, as I said, I am your host of Bearded One. With me is Random Richard, as always, my lovely co-host. And we are back to talk about video games like we are every week. So, as we always do, I'm going to start the clock. Half an hour of general discussion starting now. So Riley, you have anything you want to discuss?
Actually, yes. Recently, I did get a new game for the 3DS.
Oh, what is it?
I got Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon.
Nice.
Now, it has been, like, I think the first one came out in 2001, I think?
I think it was a GameCube launch title.
Yeah, so 2001.
Yeah, so around that time.
And I played it around that time, and beat it around that time, so I have literally not played the first one in a long time.
So you haven't played in over 10 years?
11, but yeah. So, when I heard that the second one was coming out this year, I was just like, oh shit, I gotta get in on that. So I got it, and it's actually a lot of fun. It actually kind of goes a different step. It makes it a lot more puzzle-based instead of, you know, obviously you're vacuuming up ghosts and stuff like that.
But it's not about just the ghosts.
Yeah, it's more puzzle. It's like kind of like Zelda in a way. It's actually...
Is there a water temple?
Unfortunately, no.
Unfortunately!
Sorry, I'm fucking tired. I got up an hour ago. Fortunately, no. No fucking water temple. Wait, do you have Ocarina of Time?
Actually, yeah, I do somewhere in here. No, that's Pokemon Stadium. You can just look at my ass, and you can keep talking while I look for it. I'm bending in. Just talk about it.
Okay, well...
That's
now,
Pokemon Stadium.
What it does differently than the previous game is that there's actually 5 minutes. Oh, here we go. There we go. I had the gold card one.
We weren't that lucky. Ocarina of Time, right there.
YOLO.
The original cartridge.
Okay. Oh, hey. N64 controller.
Yeah, Riley's really being distracted by everything in my room.
Oh, man.
We'll get to that later, but anyway, keep going.
But what it does differently is that you actually play in 5 different mansions, and each one has their own theme. The first one is, they're not that big. They're only about the size of one floor in the first Luigi's Mansion, but still pretty big.
Yeah, that's definitely different from the original, where it was just like one mansion for the entire game.
Yep.
So it seems like there's a lot more variety in environments in this one, right?
Yep, so the first one is just a standard mansion. The second one's like a little forest, or abandoned forest area. The third one's like an abandoned clock factory in the desert. The next one is like an ice cave. And the last one is like a really bad, treacherous mansion. It's, you have to kind of play the game to get it, but it's actually really cool. Now, it's actually kind of mission-based. So, you know,
Was the first one not?
No, it's
not. Just letting everyone know, I haven't played the original, so I wouldn't know.
The first one's basically linear, so you're going through the game in one go.
Okay.
While in this game, you know, you can go through, it's like levels.
Okay, so there's like different things you can do at different times, right?
Yeah. Okay. If you want to go back and play a mission in a previous mansion, by all means, you can go ahead.
Thank God. I love when games do that.
I know. So, all the big characters are back. Professor Egad is back. And there's a new additional character who pops up every now and then. I forget his name, but he's like a ghostly dog. And he's supposed to be a bad guy, but he ends up being a good guy.
Oh, boy.
It's actually really funny at times.
Cliche.
I know. But, oh shit, I lost my train of thought. Fuck.
Ghost dog characters.
Oh yeah, ghost dog characters. Yeah, one thing about the game is that it's a lot more kind of humor-based. So there's a lot more cutscenes.
So it's a lot more lighthearted.
Yeah, it's very... like, the first Luigi's Mansion was scary as shit at times. Well, this one, obviously, it's been 10 years.
It's getting away from its survival horror roots.
Oh god, it's going the Resident Evil way. Now, one thing I have to say, I hope Luigi's Mansion 3, if they ever do it, which...
Well, seeing the time frame between the two, not very likely.
So that means there's going to be 20 years between the 3 games.
There's going to be like a 6DS by the time they're going to...
6 dimensions. What would that be like?
Why are there 6 pedals when there's only 8 directions?
Yeah, true. But yeah, all in all, very good game. It's actually pretty cheap, even though it just came out, so if you want to go get it, go get it.
It came out a couple months ago.
Yep, so it's relatively recent.
March, I want to say.
Yep. So
I would say it came out around the time Bioshock Infinite did. Like the last week of March.
Pretty much the same time.
Yeah.
I think literally the same day.
Both great games. I'm not deeming one better than the other, just saying both great games. Even though I've only played one.
So yeah, that's about it for Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon. What would I give it? I give it a 4 out of 5. It's not perfect, but it's a pretty good successor to one of.
So you're using the 4. You're using the 5 scale.
I'll use whatever the fuck I please.
Okay.
I don't give a shit. It's summer. I don't care.
Yeah, it's summer. We don't give a shit. Anything else? Or do you want to pass over to me?
Pass over to you.
Okay. So I must say, the last few years I've had a bad habit where I start playing a game, but then I get distracted by other things or other games, and then I just stop playing it. So I got GTA 4 last year during March break when I had some money. I went out and bought the complete edition, which is the original game with both episodes from Liberty City.
Which is, I'm assuming, where you got that poster.
Yeah, that one. But we'll show you later. But anyway, so yeah, I just got back into it this past week because I'm like, I've been in like a rut lately where I'm like, okay, I'm going to go back to these old games that I haven't played for a while. I'm going to finally beat them. So in the past few weeks, I've beaten Sleeping Dogs, I've beaten Far Cry 3, and I just beat GTA 4 a couple days ago. And one thing I want to say about GTA 4 that pisses me off, that is just horrible game design.
Cousin, let's go boy!
Well, but you do know you can turn that off, though.
I know, but it's fine to leave it on.
But one thing about GTA 4 just pisses me off to no end. I can't believe, someone at Rockstar thought it was a good idea. The lack of mid-mission checkpoints.
Oh my fucking god.
Yeah.
Now, they tackled that problem in Red Dead. They had checkpoints like every 2 feet.
Yeah, and thankfully, GTA 4, they fixed that in the DLC. So that's not a problem.
Fuck, yeah, I know, Gay Tony?
Yeah, and Lost and Damned.
Damned.
But it's just so frustrating because most missions in GTA 4, they can be pretty difficult. And they usually require you to do more than one thing.
And some of them can get pretty long. Yeah, I know, some of them can get really fucking tough at times.
Yeah, but it's like, let's say you have a mission where it's like they make you do multiple things at once. So it's like you go pick someone up and then you have to drive to a location, you have to have a gunfight with a bunch of dudes, and then you have to drive to another location, steal a vehicle, and then escape the cops. That's like 6 different things you have to do.
And not die.
Yeah, if you die at any point, you start the entire mission over again. You could be just about to it just makes me angry.
You could be 2 feet away from the end, and a cop with a shotgun comes out of nowhere and blow the fuck out of you.
Fucking Oni G. Anyway, put the hat back on. But anyway, it's like you could literally be at the end of a mission. It's like MC Riley over here.
Shout out to all the swag fags at our school.
But anyway, you could literally be 2 feet from escaping the cops, and then out of nowhere, just someone will cut you off, and then they'll all show up and.
I've actually got run over running across the street once, and I had to fucking restart a mission. I was both laughing and pissed at the same time.
It's like those missions where they're like, oh, you're in an apartment complex and you have to get out of the building and escape the cops. All the cops are at the front of the building. So you go out the back door, but then you realize, fuck, there's no cars anywhere.
Shit.
So you have to go run out into the street, look for a car. Meanwhile, a horde of cops are following you. And it's like, if you die at any point, you start the entire mission over again, which, by the way, is not free. Every death you have to pay for. It's hospital bills.
If this was in Canada...
I see what you did there. But anyway, I just want to mention that because it's fresh in my mind because I just beat it the other day. It pisses me off. Thank God they fixed the problem in the DLC. Otherwise, I would not be a happy panda.
That's actually kind of interesting that you talked about that, because that leads into one of the other points that I had.
Go ahead.
Okay, what are some things that have really pissed you off about any Grand Theft Auto game you've ever played? Like, times you've just been the most pissed off. And this also includes any Rockstar game, like Max Payne or Red Dead, because we've both played that. I'm trying to think the time I was the most pissed off.
I would have to say...
I can safely say this, fuck the racing missions.
Which ones?
Any of the ones in the Grand Theft Auto games.
True.
Fuck them.
I would have to say that the most pissed off I've ever been was the final mission in GTA 4. Which,
Christ.
no spoilers, there's an elaborate chase. Well, there's an elaborate chase that always make you either drive on a dirt bike or a boat. The dirt bike is when I was almost at the point of rage quitting. That final stretch where it's like, okay, kill a bunch of dudes. Then you have to chase this guy through all these other dudes that you have to kill. And then you have to get on a dirt bike and drive on the fucking shoreline to chase him. And then you have to get in the helicopter and you have to make sure that you're just far enough away that his RPGs can't hit you, but you have to be close enough to start shooting him. And then you go down anyway, and then you have to chase him through a horde of cops. It's like,
let's hope they don't fuck up with GTA 5, honestly.
I hope they don't, because it looks pretty damn awesome so far. So I hope they don't. I hope they don't mess it up somehow.
Just one thing to comment on. I know a lot of people who live in the Northern Hemisphere can relate to this, but when they originally delayed the game, it was supposed to come out in May, so right before we get off on summer vacation.
They pushed it back to September.
So, which is fucking perfect because we're both going to college and university. I'm college, he's going to university. So really, we're gonna have a game that's gonna eat up all our time while we're in a school that's gonna also eat up all our fucking time. What the hell, Rockstar? Are you trying to piss off your North American fans? Like I know the Aussies probably have like the Aussies and the Kiwis. They have like a winter break around that time, or like a mid-fall break.
I'm not exactly.
Spring, sorry.
I'm not exactly pissed off about the delay because if Rockstar delays a game, they're just trying to make sure it's the best it can possibly be. Bad timing, though.
I know.
Bad timing.
Especially considering us. Like, if we had another year of high school, that'd be fine. Not that I gave a shit in high school to begin with.
I'm still gonna buy it no matter what.
Oh, fuck yeah, man.
Anyway, anything else you want to mention?
You go on another one.
Okay. Let's see what I got in the old trusty iPhone notes. Speaking of, like, a GTA-style game, those games are relatively long. Usually, a couple dozen hours. So I wanted to know, what's the longest playtime you've had in a game? What is the game you've clocked the most hours in?
Probably, I would have to say a tie between San Andreas and Red Dead.
Of course, all Rockstar games. He's like the Rockstar aficionado over here.
Fuck you! But actually, I did spend, your chair is squeaking really bad.
Yeah, I know. It's just... ignore it.
I'm trying to think. I also, when I was younger, I played GoldenEye 007 quite a fucking bit. And I also played, what else? What was it? Banjo-Kazooie. I played a shit ton of that.
I would have to say for me, this might be a comical answer. I don't know. But, Smash Bros. Brawl. I think the last time I played, I was almost 300 hours of playtime.
I can believe that.
Yeah. See, here's what happened. Brawl, it came out early 2008. I got it the week after it came out, and I played it nonstop for about 2 months. Every single day, hours on end.
Not bad.
So, and I still go back to it every now and then because it's a fantastic game. It's a lot of fun to play with people. So, I'm not surprised that I clocked as many hours as I have in, but yeah, almost 300 hours in Brawl.
Christ, you must have unlocked everything.
Not everything, actually. I just played for fun. But, I would say the other thing would be Borderlands 2.
Of course.
Because the main campaign, it took me just over 40 hours the first time. And then the first 2 DLCs were 8 hours each. So that's another 16, so that's around 58, just under 60. And then the next 2 DLCs, they were both 6 hours, so that's 12 on top of that. So that's 24, that's 84, and then my second playthrough, I'm about 30 hours in, so over 100 hours. I'd say around 110 hours for Borderlands 2, so that's my second longest.
Christ. This guy would not shut up about Borderlands 2 for the longest time when it came out.
Hey, when it's your game of the year, you kind of have to praise it a little bit, but true. But anyway, you wanna? Oh,
I thought there was a bug by the laptop.
Yeah, don't you? It's like when you're sitting there and you look at your monitor and there's like a dirt spot, but you don't know it's a dirt spot. You're like,
so you try scrolling the screen. It's not okay. Where's the fucking Windex when you need it?
But anyway, you wanna continue on, or do you?
Fucking Christ! Actually, yeah. This is a trend because I read some gaming magazines occasionally, and like I read news, so I keep up with the gossip, to the best I can. But one thing I've actually noticed is a weird trend in the gaming industry. When one game comes out, they will praise it to no. What are you doing?
Just checking the camera.
Okay. They will literally praise every pixel of its being, yet 2 months later, when a good 6 months later, when a new game comes out, they pretend
completely forget it.
Or they'll go, oh, let's say they praise the shit out of The Last of Us, right? Your glasses are fogging up, by the way. It's probably just the angle. It doesn't matter. But, so let's say, like, The Last of Us came out, right? Mm-hmm. They will praise the shit out of it, as they have.
They have.
Accordingly enough.
They very much have.
And, let's say 6 months later when fucking GTA 5 or Ghosts or NFL, Madden, fuck that shit, comes out, they're gonna compare it to the game that they previously praised the shit out of and go, oh, this game sucks in comparison. Well, if you go back in time 6 months, they just, were completely balls to the wall about it. Literally, yeah. It's like, what the fuck? I mean, I know they're just trying to get, like, people to read their shit, but, like, I don't know. I literally, IGN. Shout out to IGN.
IGN. But yeah, it's weird when they're like, it's like this game comes out that's just like praise beyond belief, and then another game comes out that's either similar or in the same genre.
Or just an overhyped game.
Yeah, and then professional reviewers, which I don't trust professional reviewers, like...
Shout out to indie reviewers.
I mean, they're not being paid off and they're always honest. I can't say that much about IGN when they give fucking Call of Duty a 9 every year, but...
When, honestly, I thought Black Ops 2... Like, I tolerated Modern Warfare 3 because, I wanted to see the story end. Black Ops 2 was quite literally the biggest turd I've ever played in my life. I fucking hated that game. I have not played it since, like, December.
He's finally seeing things from my end.
Hey, I actually kind of enjoyed Modern Warfare 3.
I literally played the campaign for, like, 15 minutes and I'm like, fuck this shit.
For,
Modern Warfare 3. Literally, the first mission, you're in the streets of New York... You're just trying to get through the city, and like it's the same goddamn thing. Fuck
basically,
it.
Honestly,
I didn't even get one. Well, I got like 2 achievements.
Was you get pressing the start button?
Yeah, you get an achievement for fucking watching the opening cutscene, which is stupid. Like
it's like in grade school, those kids who get awards for participating.
Fucking blue ribbons. But anyway, yeah, I find that weird when like a game comes out that's either similar to another highly praised game, or it's in the same genre, and then they make comparisons between the two, given like half a year before the previous game, you praised the shit out of and said, oh, nothing can get better than this, and then this other game comes out and you're like, oh, this is better than this. How can you change your opinion that quickly?
This is why.
Especially when it's text, yeah. Especially when it's text reviews, so it's on document. Your words are on document. You can't take that back.
Exactly.
But anyway, I guess I'll take over here. Oh, there's fucking hair on my phone. iPhone notes. But anyway, if anyone's seen episode 23...
Shout out to iPhone.
Shout out to iPhones. If anyone's seen episode 23, the big elaborate video one...
Which one are we on now?
26. People will know, if you've seen that episode, that Riley here is not a big fan of DLC.
Well... I've kind of softened on it. Like
he doesn't like the concept of DLC.
Yeah, I think the game should just be all made as one whole, and if you're gonna make more, just do a sequel. That's just how I see it.
Fair enough, but I want to know.
Which kind of contradicts my opinion on how I hate games being delayed, but whatever.
Well, speaking on the topic of DLC, I want to know if at all you've experienced any DLC. What is the best DLC you've ever played?
Best
Game of the Year editions count. Because they usually come with all the DLC.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to think. Well, I know I go to Red Dead a lot, but
Undead Nightmare?
Yeah, that was pretty fucking cool.
Which actually, ironic enough, I got that right
I had the disc
here.
version. Yeah,
Right
my brother, the only time he's ever actually used PSN for anything, he downloaded it the day it came out.
Wow.
Shout out to my brother, he's a tool. He probably watches this, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, he probably doesn't even know you do it.
He knows.
Well, fucking whatever. But anyway, so, best DLC Riley's ever played, Red Dead, Undead Nightmare.
Fuck yeah.
It's kind of hard for me because I've actually played a lot of DLC. We're going on 20 minutes for general discussion. But, I would actually have to think. I would say...
I'm gonna take this hat off.
Oh, you're gonna take it off?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't stand it.
I was gonna say... You can see I also have the Mario one up there.
Fire Mario.
By the way, just letting everyone know, we're gonna do room tour later on today, and that'll come out sometime next week, probably after this episode airs.
And I already previously recorded a room tour. So
those will be coming up in the coming days or weeks. But, best DLC I've ever played. Well, I have to think of which DLC I've played. I've played Borderlands DLC. I've
only played a bit of Borderlands.
I played COD DLC.
Oh, fuck that shit.
I've played... I played GTA DLC. I played Halo DLC. I've played Portal DLC.
Oh, I'm just going to interrupt you there real quickly. When LA Noire came out for the PS3, there was an extra mission on there. It didn't matter, it still sucked, but I also played that. Just saying.
I would have to say, this is just my personal preference, I would have to say the best, in your opinion, is probably what you have the fondest memories of.
Exactly, like what did you enjoy?
What left the biggest impact on you that you still remember it? I think that, in terms of me, is my definition of the best.
Yeah. Exactly.
So, in terms of DLC, it's kind of difficult because I've actually played a lot of DLC over the years. I would say Undead Nightmare is definitely up there.
Undead Nightmare is fucking cool.
I'd say Undead Nightmare is definitely in my top 5 DLCs. Granted, it is a little shallow.
Short.
But it's still in the top. I'm just going to list like a top 5.
Just list them all off.
Yeah, I'm just going to list the top 5 of my favorite DLCs in no particular order. We have Undead Nightmare for Red Dead Redemption. We have The Lost and Damned for GTA 4, because I just finished that yesterday, actually. Fucking great DLC.
I thought the Ballad of Gay Tony was like the funniest fucking thing ever.
I was actually going to start that last night, but then I finished Lost and Damned at like 5 p.m. I'm like, I'll just leave it until later.
Yeah.
But, so we have Undead Nightmare, Lost and Damned, 2 Borderlands 2 DLCs, Captain Scarlet and her Pirate's Booty, and Mr. Torgue's Campaign of Carnage. Those 2 were excellent DLCs. And I would have to say another one that I would have to say another one that I'm quite fond of would be... I'm actually trying to think of another one. It's hard. I play so many games. It's kind of difficult to think of things on the spot, especially when it's digital add-ons.
Yeah, true. I don't play nearly as many games as he does. A big problem being the PS3 doesn't have like Xbox style gamer scores, so
yeah,
it's hard to buy shit. And I'm fucking cheap, so I don't want to buy stuff.
Yeah,
and my brother's a tool, so.
I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Yeah,
those 4. Those are my favorite DLCs. So Undead Nightmare for Red Dead Redemption, Lost and Damned for GTA 4, and the Captain Scarlet and Mr. Torgue DLCs for Borderlands 2. There we go.
Fucking nailed it.
So anyway, your turn.
Fucking nailed it.
If you have anything else to discuss, your turn.
Fuck, I forgot.
Of course you did. That's why I tell you to write things down.
It'll come back to me. Do you want to?
Yeah, I'll keep going.
This again.
Speaking of GTA 4, the DLCs, their main characters are actually in the main campaign for GTA 4.
Yeah, I know. Very briefly though.
Lost and Damned, you have Johnny Klebitz, the biker, who is who helps Nico a couple times throughout the game, mainly during the diamond deal.
And Gay Tony is Louise, who is seen during the McCreary's bank robbery.
He's
funny.
And also during the diamond deal, he kills Maury.
That's right. Yeah,
yes.
I forgot about that.
So, I just wanted to mention intertwining storylines, where it's like, I love it when a developer like thinks things through ahead of time, where it's like, okay, this is going to be our main character. but we're also, but hey, I like this character and this character. Why don't eventually down the road we make stories based around these guys?
Yeah.
So it's like during when they were making the campaign of GTA 4, obviously they had these other characters in mind to like give them their own stories, and obviously characters cross paths every now and then, and their stories intertwine. Where like there's one mission in Nico's campaign where Liz Torres gives you a mission where you and Playboy, along with Johnny, go to an apartment to do a drug deal.
Yeah.
And it goes awry.
Of course.
And then in the main campaign, you see from Nico's perspective where him and Playboy escape the cops. But in the Lost and Damned DLC where you play as Johnny, you see it from his perspective where he fights the cops off, gets out of the building, and then escapes with the Lost gang. So it's like, I love it when developers think things through ahead of time while they're making a game, and they're like, okay, this is going to be a main character, but these characters are also really well written, so we're going to give them their own stories, and then we're going to release that as DLC, and you're going to see how these characters affect other characters' lives in the game.
Exactly.
And then also during the Diamond heist, the Diamond deal with Isaac's gang, Nico and Johnny are doing the deal for Ray, but Louise gets involved and kills Maury. Now, when you're playing the actual campaign, when you're playing Nico's story, it's not exactly clear why Louise is there or why he did what he did, but when you play The Lost and Damned, you see that the Lost biker gang, with Johnny as their leader, actually go and steal the diamonds from Gay Tony. He's doing a deal where he's getting $2 million worth of diamonds, and then Johnny and the Lost gang show up and steal the diamonds from Gay Tony. So when you play that story, it makes more sense how it affected Louise and why he got involved in the diamond deal in the actual game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, I love it when there's such attention to detail in games where it's like...
Well, it's Rockstar, dude. They
Yeah.
really give a shit about what they do.
Yeah, where multiple characters can meet up and their stories intertwine, and you can see from different perspectives how things happen. I just love that. What do you think?
Honestly, like, I've experienced that to a similar extent, you know, playing through the DLCs. And I'd
You
say,
have episodes from Motor City, right?
Yeah, I got it when we got a Max Payne. Sorry, hold on. Sorry. When we got a Max Payne 3.
Now, did you get it on a separate disc, or is it on the
Separate
same
disc.
Okay.
Separate disc. Because when my brother got Max Payne 3, it came with it. So it's just
Oh,
like, oh, fucking cool.
cool.
Why not?
So anyway,
Fucking cool.
So what do you think about it?
So all in all, well, you pretty much said anything I had to say. So anything I'd say would just be like, what's the word I'm looking for? Redundant as shit right now. Sorry. Yeah, well, yeah.
Okay, so we have the both opinion. Moving on, do you have anything else you want to talk about? Remember anything?
Actually, yeah.
Okay.
What is something... I use a lot of questions because, you know, it gets things going. What would you like to see in a first-person shooter? I'll start this off. I would honestly like to see a little bit more of a historical one. Like, I'd like to see a World
You want to
War
go back
shooter.
to World at War?
Yeah, I want to go back a little further. Like, I want to see some of the earlier 20th century wars, like the Boer Wars in South Africa. I want to see World War One. I wouldn't mind a Civil War.
Yeah,
shooter,
World
to be
War
honest.
One isn't very touched upon. It's usually World War Two.
Yeah, because World War One was just mostly just hiding in trenches and once in a while.
Yeah, World War Two is more presentable in a video game format.
Because it's just fucking...
Yeah, because there were huge battlefield fights, and like it wasn't trench warfare at that point, and also the Nazis make a perfect enemy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I understand.
Or
I
the
understand
Japanese. Honestly,
You know what? You know what I want to see? A game based around the War of 1812.
Ooh.
I think that would be interesting.
Yes.
Also, the American Revolution.
Well, with Assassin's Creed 3, we kind of have that.
But like a full-on
Yeah, I
warfare,
know.
like first-person shooter game.
I would actually really like that. But honestly, now, that brings in the topic. Back then, guns were a pain in the ass. Like, you had to...
Yeah, gunpowder and...
Hey.
Shut up.
Tease it. Tease it in. Ah, fuck, I missed. Even though he's like 2 feet away from me.
Oh, time to reload.
Hold on. You know what? I'll just bayonet you.
But yeah, so I think from a gameplay perspective, it would be kind of difficult to keep things
But if they-
flowing.
But they can pull what Assassin's Creed 3 did and just, like, BS it in, like, 2 seconds. So they should be able to take some creative license there. You know, if you get too realistic, it just gets boring. So, you know, it should be able to reload much... Okay, let's just say that the guy you play as has, like, really fast hands that can reload a gun and, like... Yeah, so it looks like he's using a perk or something like that.
Yeah. But,
What's that? Oh, never mind.
that's it. I would say, what I would want to see in a first-person shooter would be, I would want to see, because, like, realistic settings and war settings, they've been done to death. I would want to see a more fantasy setting
Are you
for a
talking?
first-person shooter.
So you're talking like
more whimsical, like more imaginative, like things you wouldn't see in the ordinary.
I can kind of see what you're getting at here.
Like, like think of like medieval.
Sorry.
Think of like a medieval setting where like things is like they're not meant to be taken seriously and everything is
So
like
just
big and grand.
a very tongue-in-cheek.
Yes.
Okay, I can kind of see that. That'd be kind of cool, actually.
But,
so you're talking like medieval Ireland, but
sort
with
of.
guns.
But like a more fantasy.
Fuck yeah.
But like a more fantasy, like off the wall kind of environment where things don't make sense. Like think of have you seen the old Porky Pig cartoon with the dodo?
Yeah.
More things like that.
So when he goes to, even though Africa does not look like that.
I want to see a first-person shooter where the main character is always on acid. That's what I want to see.
I think Borderlands 2 is as close you're gonna get to that.
But anyway, moving on.
While you talk about Porky Pig, I want to bring something up. I was watching. My brother and I went to Subway recently, and we came back and we were eating in front of the TV, and we're watching an old Porky Pig cartoon from the 1940s. Now,
Was it Dodo Land?
no, it wasn't that, but it was a Porky Pig and a very early Sylvester and supposedly Tweety. But what Tweety does is really fucked up. Now, I know it's the 40s and, things were different back then, but I forget what Porky Pig does. He does something really dumb. And the Tweety bird, who has like a really thick New York accent, he goes, "Not this again." So he pulls out a gun and shoots himself and slumps over dead. This is in a cartoon.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Huh?
A bird shot itself and slumped over. They didn't even hide it. We saw the whole thing. Like, there's no blood or anything. And, like, Shane, did you ever grow up watching Bugs Bunny and Tweety show?
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you right now, half the cartoons you see in there are heavily censored.
Yeah. It seems like the old cartoons definitely got away with more.
Oh, yeah.
And
Because,
of course, we're dumb kids. We don't understand any of it until we grow older.
Like, my dad, who grew up in the 50s and 60s, he's an old guy. He remembers seeing Porky Pig cartoons where, like, the black people are always, like, the really... Not trying to be racist here, but they're really slow and bumbling, and they always have that southern mammy accent. Which today you would never be able to get away with.
Unless you're on HBO.
Or Family Guy.
But anyway.
Or HBO. Yeah.
But that's beside the point. Moving on. Last discussion topic for today. It's okay. We gotta get back on track. Last discussion topic. What is the most collectible heavy game you've ever played? Like, what is the game with, like, just the most collectibles you've ever seen?
Donkey Kong 64.
Really?
Yep. There's a lot of shit to collect in that game.
I would say Crackdown.
Crackdown?
Crackdown. It's downstairs. For 360. But Crackdown. Crackdown made itself famous for two things. One, the original Crackdown came bundled with the Halo 3 beta. For the Halo 3 multiplayer beta. That's what made people, like, realize what Crackdown was. It's like, oh, look at this game. It's like most people, when most people bought Crackdown, they were like, oh, sweet, Halo 3 multiplayer beta, and it comes with a free game. God. So that's what gave Crackdown a name for itself. That's what made it famous. The other thing that made it famous was the collectibles in the game. Now, the whole premise behind the game is there's you're in this place. I can't remember exactly what the city's called. I think it's just the city. But there's this elite force called the Agency. And what the Agency does is they train super soldiers, like cybernetic soldiers, and they call them agents. And they send them out to, like, clean up crime and, like, control the gang wars and stuff in the city. And your character is an agent, and by doing certain things, you level up certain traits. So it's like, if you drive a car and you run down enemies, you'll get driving experience, and then you'll eventually get better cars and you'll be better at driving. If you shoot more people, you'll get better guns, and you'll get better, like, handling with guns. If you use explosives more, the explosions get bigger, and, things like that. But the second thing that made Crackdown famous was the agility skill. Now, the agility skill, with more agility, you can run faster and jump higher. And since you're a cybernetic soldier, you can get to the point where you can scale entire buildings in one jump, like Superman.
Yeah.
But the way you would upgrade your agility is that there were 500 green orbs throughout the city. And the only way to level up your agility were to collect these green orbs. And literally, if you got on one high rooftop, you would see dozens all across the rooftops. And it's like, when you collect one, you see another, you go collect that one, and it's just like, it's just a domino effect where it's like you see one, you go for the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and then eventually you get sidetracked for an hour just looking for fucking orbs. So that's the other thing that made Crackdown famous, was that there were so many of these orbs, and for some reason they were literally the crack in Crackdown. It's like, for some reason they were...
Puns.
For some reason they were just so addictive to collect, and it's like, there was a hefty reward for collecting them too, because you would be able to jump higher and then get more fucking orbs. So it's like, that's the most collectible heavy game I've ever played. I think there's 2 Crackdown games, and each there are 500 green orbs. I think in the first one I collected around 480. Because obviously when you have that many collectibles and then you get down to like the last 100, they start becoming really sporadic and hard to find. So I never collected all of them, but I was pretty damn close.
Jesus.
So anyway, I think, yep, we're just over half an hour. So general discussion is over. Let's get to some news. Some gaming news from the past week that I found interesting. Also, disclaimer. This is for later. We'll save this for the end, because this is the huge news story.
What's the disclaimer?
Disclaimer. For the show, I collect gaming news that I find interesting. So let's say there's like a huge gaming announcement, or like a big chunk of gaming news that came out this week that I don't necessarily find interesting. I won't mention it on the show.
So that's a little one-sided.
I just collect things that I find interesting, and that I think you would find interesting.
And you just hope to God that, people who are watching this find this interesting.
Hey, it's our show. We can do what we want.
Now, if you're at this point where you're like, oh, I don't want to watch it anymore, I think it's already registered as a view, so, thank you for the view.
Thank you very much. Anyway, let's get to some news. Bioshock Infinite, which... Game of the Year so far for 2013, I would say. It was just announced this week. Some details for the DLC just came out this past week. I believe it was Wednesday where they announced this, where the Bioshock Infinite Season Pass, there's going to be 3 DLCs. One came out the day that they announced details about it, where it was just like a horde mode. It was called Clash in the Clouds. And it was basically just arena fights. It was just something to tide people over until the next big DLCs, which they announced, which is actually going to be an episodic thing. Only 2 episodes, and they will actually come out on like Half-Life. But anyway, so along with releasing Clash in the Clouds, they announced Bioshock Infinite Burial at Sea, which is the main story DLC that they're going to release. They didn't announce a release date. It's just going to come out sometime later this year. But basically, the whole premise of this is, are you familiar with Rapture?
Yeah.
From the original Bioshock. That was the underwater city. The entire premise of the game, and it makes perfect sense based on the ending of Bioshock Infinite, again, no spoilers, but it makes perfect sense that they would go this direction. But the main purpose of the DLC is it's set in 1958, the day before Rapture fell.
Huh.
But it's starring Booker and Elizabeth from Infinite.
Oh, shit. Which is from 1912, I think?
1912,
okay.
yeah. So...
I haven't fucking played a Bioshock game in a long time,
yeah.
so...
So basically, it's going... the next DLC is Burial at Sea, Episode 1 and 2. They're going to feature... It's going to be more mysterious. It's going to be a more film noir version of Bioshock Infinite. More like the original was.
Yeah.
Where it's like everything is dark and mysterious and you don't know exactly what's going to happen. But you're going to be playing... In Episode 1, you're going to be playing as Booker the day before Rapture fell, and then in Episode 2, you're going to be playing as Elizabeth.
I see, okay.
Yeah, so I just thought that was pretty interesting, how they would go back to that setting, and because in the original Bioshock, you got to Rapture after it had already fallen, after the city was basically destroyed, and everything went to shit. Now they're showing you exactly how the city went to shit in the first place, but it's with the Bioshock Infinite characters. What do you think about this?
Well... It's a good idea, I have to say that.
Mind if I take a drink? I didn't grab one for myself. That was stupid.
That's alright. I got another shout out to Coke. I think it's a good idea. It's a really... Again, as you mentioned with the Lost and Damned, it's a good way to tie in all the games.
Sure enough.
It's really all I have to... I haven't played Bioshock Infinite. I had it in my hand, but I was like, my brother's gonna be a fucking... Because again, I have a PS3, but it's in my brother's room, and he owns it, so he's a fucking tool about it. So, oh god, I hope to god he doesn't watch this. It's alright, it's too long in, he won't watch it. But fuck it. So, fuck it, I'll get a game for a system that I actually own. So, whatever.
So yeah, So
I know, they get annoying after a while.
Yeah, so they announced that this week. I think it's a really cool concept that they would bring the Infinite characters into Rapture, and I think it's really interesting that they would use those characters to explain how the city had fallen. And going off the ending of Infinite, which no spoilers, but it makes perfect sense that this would be happening. That's all I'm gonna say. So anyway, that was announced this week. Moving on, Batman Arkham Origins. It was announced.
I'm looking forward to that.
It was announced this week that Arkham Origins will feature a competitive multiplayer mode.
Ah, fuck.
It actually looks really cool. So what happens is it's 3 versus 3 versus 2. So basically,
Why the fuck?
basically, here's how it's gonna go down. It's going to incorporate elements of the Arkham Origins games, or the Arkham games, you know, the stealth and the hand-to-hand combat, while also mixing in third-person shooter mechanics, because the whole premise of the multiplayer is that Bane and Joker are having a gang war.
Oh, I see, okay.
So basically it's going to be 3 versus 3, where one team is Joker's goons and the other team is Bane's goons. And then it's also going to be 3 versus 3 versus 2. The 2 are going to be Batman and Robin. So basically, you're going to have a team of Joker goons, a team of Bane goons, and then Batman and Robin trying to take them all out.
So Robin's gonna be in it.
Yes. So, also, it was announced that Joker and Bane will be playable in multiplayer.
Okay.
Apparently, at certain points, either Bane or Joker will call in, wanting to get in on the fight, and then there will be... It's kind of like how Bioshock 2's multiplayer went, where at a certain point in the game, a Big Daddy suit would show up on the map, and whoever got there first would become the Big Daddy. Here, either Bane or Joker will call in, wanting to get in on the fight, and whoever gets to a certain area of the map first gets to control either Bane or Joker, depending on what gang you're in.
Okay.
And then obviously, Joker and Bane, they will only have one life, they won't respawn, but they are much stronger than the normal goons.
Makes sense.
So I think it's a really interesting... thing that they're doing here. It's not your standard multiplayer.
Yeah.
If you think about it. Because, sure, 3 versus 3, third-person shooter, sure, it could be pretty generic, but then you have...
Then they pull that shit. And
and then you have either Bane or Joker getting involved, which is awesome. It's sort of like Bioshock 2 multiplayer. But then you also have a separate team of Batman and Robin just taking out everyone. So I think it could be really cool and creative what they do with this. What do you think?
Well, I've only beaten the first one. I'm still playing through the second one. I'm really slow with games, so, and he just casually agrees. But I think it could be a pretty cool idea. I'd like to see it.
Yeah. There's a gameplay trailer out, so if you have time, look it up. But so they announced that this week. Moving on. More Last of Us news came out this week. Apparently, details about story DLC for The Last of Us are coming later this month.
So,
It wasn't specified exactly what it will be.
I heard about the DLC, but...
Yeah. But it was announced that details about the DLC, story DLC for Last of Us, are coming out later this month.
Okay.
It wasn't specified exactly what it will be or, you know, who will be involved, but details will come out at the end of August. What do you think about this? First off, have you beaten Last of Us yet?
Not yet. As I said, I'm really fucking slow with games, so I'm not even out of the second act of the game yet.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
I'm really slow with it. I spent a lot. Doesn't matter. But anyways, well, as much as I'm sort of semi against DLC, as I've made myself known for in the past, I don't know. Like, I'm a little mixed on it, to be honest. Like, I liked The Last of Us. I haven't beaten it yet, so I like it. But, you know, I don't think it deserves the praise it should get, because it feels a little too generic to me.
Just letting everyone know, I can't really state my opinion on this because...
You don't have a PS3.
I don't have a PS3, so I wouldn't be able to play it. So this is all Riley right here.
Yeah, basically.
See, I saw this, and I'm like, oh, it's The Last of Us again, so Riley would have something to say about it.
Yeah, the one thing I actually have something to talk about on here. But, anyway.
So yeah, that was announced. New Tomb Raider news this week.
I actually...
Are you familiar with the reboot that just came out?
I'm familiar with it, but I never played it, so...
I have it on demand.
How is it?
I haven't gotten around to playing it yet, but my sister's played and she said it's really good. It's one of her games.
I've seen a lot of memes on Reddit where she takes like a lot of fucking beatings.
She takes a lot of punishment in that game.
And I thought Nathan Drake was a badass.
Yeah, but it was announced this week that a sequel to the Tomb Raider reboot is, quote, well into development.
Which is gamer slang for saying it may or may not happen.
Yeah. So basically, what they're trying to do is they're trying to take this rebooted Tomb Raider and make a new series out of it. And they have announced that the sequel to the Tomb Raider reboot is well into development. And they also mentioned that it will be for next-gen platforms. So what do you think about this? What do you think about taking a rebooted franchise and making a new series out of it?
Well, I'm all for rebooting a game series that's been... Let's face it, Tomb Raider's been kind of in the dark in the past couple years. You know, nobody's really cared about it.
No one's really cared about Lara Croft.
Nobody gives a shit about the Angelina Jolie movies anymore, which... The first one's okay. The second one's just awful.
What do you think... Going off that, what do you think about the Resident Evil movies?
The first one was good. The others, I did not care. The last one, I have not seen. The one that
Who
came
cares?
out.
Who really
I don't
cares?
give a shit.
But anyway, back to this.
Tomb Raider?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, could be. Again, you know, I give it a shot. You know, I give it a chance. You know, I'd see if it was good or not. But you know, coming from a casual person such as myself, when it comes to gaming, well, I'm mixed on so much stuff on this show. I just realized that.
Yeah.
I give it a shot. Why not?
Yeah, but I say, for someone who's actually like experienced it, it looks like a really cool game. Like watching my sister play it, it looks really cool. It's like if Uncharted was made for the Xbox. I'm gonna be honest, it looks just like Uncharted, but there are different elements of it that make it unique from Uncharted. It just looks similar. So,
yeah.
But you know, apparently a lot of people love this reboot. A lot of people highly praised it, said that this is exactly what Tomb Raider needed. So the fact that they're making a new series out of this.
One thing I remember reading on the gaming section of Reddit. Do you know what Reddit is?
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I don't go on Reddit. But
okay. But one meme I saw was apparently there's no jiggle physics.
Yeah.
So a lot of people were up
made,
in arms about that.
They made her more realistic.
But
anyway.
They didn't make her a Japanese video game character.
No.
Hey, let's give our video game character small boobs. Said no Japanese game maker. Ever.
But anyway, so a lot of people said that this reboot was exactly what Tomb Raider needed to get back into the limelight.
The mainstream, yeah.
And the fact that they're trying to make a new series out of this, if the sequels are just as good as the original rebooted game, I think it'll be fine.
I'm very simplistic on this. Watch your feet, by the way.
Yep.
If the first one's good, and you know, if you want to make a sequel, make the sequel good, and if it's good, I'll get it.
Simple enough. Anyway, moving on.
Don't complicate shit.
Cliff Bleszinski, are you familiar with this man?
No fucking idea who he is.
He was the ex-founder of Epic Games, the people who made Gears of War.
Okay.
He, in the last year or so, he recently left Epic Games to go do his own thing. And on his Twitter, he teased a new project where he tweeted a picture of something he had been working on. It's concept art. And apparently the picture had been cropped. So not the whole picture.
So it wasn't the whole thing?
It wasn't the whole thing. But what he showed was it was a soldier at the bottom of a canyon. And you know how some canyons at the bottom, they have like a river?
Yeah.
So it was concept art of a soldier at the bottom of a canyon with a river, and he was walking towards a boat, and in the background it looked like there were like rocks falling off a cliff. But he tweeted this picture and he's like, hey guys, here's a little sneak peek at what I'm working on. So apparently it's not exactly sure what it is, but he might be working on his own game now.
Well, judging by what you've been telling me in that poster, I'd give that a shot, honestly.
Yeah, it definitely it looked really unique. I don't think I've really, other than
like, are we talking like Grand Canyon style canyon?
Yes.
Okay.
Other than Modern Warfare 2, I really haven't seen that kind of setting. So the fact that he showed us this concept art.
Modern Warfare 2?
Yeah, remember the whole boat chase?
Oh, right, yeah, okay.
Yeah. So seeing as how he showed us this picture of what he's been working on, and seeing how his concept art, I really think that he might be working on his own game now. I think he might be going indie, actually.
Going indie. It's like going native. It's a good term. But, honestly, like, I know it's probably too soon to say. I mean, it could be really good, could be...
It was just...
Could be so-so, could be bad.
It was just shown in the last day or two, so it's really recent.
So we're talking like a couple days ago?
Yes.
Okay, well, again, it may be too soon to say. Who knows if it'll even ever happen. I don't know. I'd play it. Could be good. Oh, Fez 2.
I'll get to that. We'll save that for the end. But anyway.
You probably cried. Oh, shit.
Hi, guys. Just hooking up the camera so it doesn't die. Get that in there. There we go. There's Riley. Anyway. So, back to the discussion. Technical difficulties. We apologize. So the last big thing before we get into what I have actual physical notes for is the Elder Scrolls Anthology, which was just announced a day or two ago. What it is a collection of all the Elder Scrolls games, all 5 of them. So it includes Arena, which was the first one, Daggerfall, 2 Daggerfall, 3 Morrowind, 4 Oblivion, and 5 Skyrim.
That's pretty... Okay, now, I think it's safe to say from this, video games are going to cause a lack of relationships.
Yeah. But anyway, so this was announced. They will all be PC. It's a PC-only thing. Because that's where Elder Scrolls started.
Makes sense.
They only came to console starting with Oblivion, so Elder Scrolls was originally a PC franchise. But all the games will be PC copies. The entire collection itself will be $80.
Fuck.
It will be launching on September 10th with all 5 of the Elder Scrolls games and all the DLC that has been released for those games. Also, it includes a map for each individual game because each game is set in a different place.
Each province, yeah.
Yes. So each game will come with a collector's map of each province that game is set in. So, what do you think about this? Have you played Elder Scrolls at all?
I've played a little bit of Oblivion.
I have too.
That's about it. I have never played Skyrim.
I have Skyrim.
Yeah, I know. I know everybody went shut up about it when it first came out. I'm just like...
I'm going to be honest here, I haven't really played much of Skyrim either, so...
What do you think of it, though?
From what I played, I think it was really engaging, I must say. I'd say that it was really interesting characters, really interesting stories, and the fact that they gave you so much freedom in the game, I could literally, like, fuck off for, like, 10 hours and go explore and find little things here and there. Like, I remember I was on my way towards one of my main quests, and I was going through the forest, and I saw, like, a little cave off to the side, so I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go in there. Turns out it was a cave full of bandits, where a group of bandits had set up camp in the cave. So I killed them all, and I took all their resources, and then I got out to the other side, and I ended up on the other side of the mountain. So it was basically a shortcut full of loot. So yeah, I think it's a really engaging game. It's a really good game. I just haven't really played a whole lot of it.
Yeah, that's kind of me with Oblivion. I never really got well, it's not that I didn't have a chance to play a lot of it. It's just, it's just like, I don't know. I liked it, but, I didn't really care for it.
Yeah, Oblivion definitely isn't the best.
Yeah, fuck. The one moment, I will always remember this. I was playing it, my brother was nearby, he was watching, and we were just like, oh, finally, a regular person for once. Turns out the woman's a fucking cat.
A Khajiit?
fucking Khajiit. And we're just like, what the fuck? Oh man, that was funny. But, okay, back to the collection, because we got pretty off topic there.
Yeah. So, I think this is a tremendous deal. Like, seriously. All 5 Elder Scrolls games.
It's like what they did with Metal Gear recently.
Yeah. Yeah, the Legacy Collection.
Metal Gear!
But all 5 Elder Scrolls games, with all the DLC that's been released for the series, $80. That's outstanding value. Especially with the amount of content each of these games holds.
So we're talking like a good little less than $20 per game.
Basically, yeah.
God
and
damn.
Think of it, that's...
For what's in Skyrim, that's a fucking steal if you think about it.
Yeah, there's like tons of content there. Like, I would say that has to be well over 500 hours of content right there. Just all the games packed together. With all the stuff they give you to do, I think it's a tremendous deal, and I think anyone who's a fan of RPGs
should give it a shot.
Would be damned if they didn't get it.
I hope you have nothing planned this fall.
Oh, other than school.
Well, fuck school. It's time for that shit.
Anyway, and the last news topic of today, which I have physical notes for, first time ever. There's been a huge debacle about Fez 2 lately. In the last week, there has been so much talk about this game, none of it good. So, let me just recap. I made sure that I had all the details I could possibly have.
You literally took screenshots?
No, I printed these. Like, I didn't... Well, yeah. So, I have Phil Fish's Twitter feed. I have a letter to Phil Fish. And I also took screenshots of Phil's posts on Polytron and also the Polytron Twitter. So, let me explain the whole story to you, starting from the beginning. So, it was recently announced, Microsoft recently announced that indie developers will be able to self-publish their titles on Xbox One. Great thing. Marcus Beer, the gentleman who runs the Invisible Walls podcast over on Game Trailers, contacted Phil Fish and Jonathan Blow, the developers of Fez and Braid, respectively, and wanted to get their comments on what they feel about this new policy. Neither one of them wanted to make any comment at that moment. So, Marcus Beer kind of got a little harsh with both of them.
That's not good.
He kind of went off on both of them. Some pretty harsh words. Mainly for Phil, the developer of...
So he just kind of gave Phil shit for no reason?
Well, I mean, I don't know every little detail about this story, but he did give Phil some pretty nasty words. I believe it's in here somewhere. He called him a tosspot, a hipster asshole, and among other things. And
wow.
Phil did not take too Phil has never been one to censor himself. Phil Fish has always been the one indie developer who always states his opinion and always states it honestly. And
he doesn't give a shit what other people think.
Exactly. He's gotten quite a reputation for doing so.
Which is both a good and a bad thing.
Yeah. Most people think he's an arrogant asshole. It's like, oh, you're just another indie developer, you prick. But then there are the other, the true people who actually get Phil, who respect his opinions and respect what he does in the gaming industry. But Phil did not take too kindly to these words. So he went to Twitter and... Oh, Jesus Christ, there is a ton. So
hold it here so I can also read.
I'm just gonna go through Phil's Twitter feed on the day of.
Oh fuck! I'm just reading the top one right now. I'm just like, oh god.
Yeah. So it goes from the bottom up. It was weird how
it's Twitter.
Yeah. So it started off. He went off on Game Trailers like, real nice guys, real nice. Thank you for all your contributions to the medium. And then he started going off on the Annoyed Gamer, who was also on Game Trailers. Hey, fuckface. The thing with us tosspots hipsters is that we're not beholden to media leeches like you.
Thank you!
You really gotta watch your volume. There are other people in this house.
Sorry.
And you're right, we're very successful, and we're not going anywhere. Get used to it, you middle-aged parasite. This next comment, not exactly good on Phil's part. Compare your life to mine and then kill yourself.
Whoa, okay. That's a little
at this point you could see that Phil was not very happy with these people.
Like, don't get me wrong, I'm all for, saying what you have to say, but you
gotta keep it to it.
And I'm known for, saying some pretty fucked up stuff, but, I know to not talk sometimes if I have something really fucked up to say.
Yeah. Let's keep going here. Today's beef is brought to you by some inconsequential limey prick.
Fuck.
Whatever, prick is better. More personal attacks, this time coming from @GameTrailer's Annoyed Gamer. Who got so butthurt that me and John wouldn't give out quotes? Attacking my character and the quality of my work. Nice job, Game Trailers. It must be frustrating being such a small commentary, only being able to ejaculate vomit out of your mouth from the sidelines. Unable to create beauty or add to the world in a meaningful way, you sit in judgment masturbating.
Probably very true.
this goes on for a while. There's some pretty juicy stuff in here.
Just mentioned masturbating, so, you know.
On top of your little soapbox, trying to make others feel small so you can fool yourself into thinking that you matter.
Kind of true.
Let's see. At Annoyed Gamer, at Jim Sterling does what you do better and with infinitely more class. Oh, and personality. And then he started... At this point, he's just fucking gone. He started demanding public apologies on camera. It's like...
He just went on a whole Mel Gibson-style rant.
Yep. Apparently he was going to have his attorney get involved. Yep, I'll have my attorney look into that. I'm not a professional news outlet. I don't get paid to insult people and assassinate their character. And apparently Bobby Jones, I have no idea who this guy is, started going off on him. Whatever, Jizz Boy, you're a huge cockchoker anyway who likes to get bummed and eaten.
This is the kind of stuff I microwave popcorn and read on the online.
Yeah.
Want to get some popcorn?
I don't have any.
Fuck.
This is exhausting. I regret that you bought my game.
This is just getting pathetic.
And then he started getting back to Invisible Walls. Hey, Invisible Balls, I'm talking to you right here. Say that shit to my face. Or do you feel comfortable assassinating someone's character from in front of the camera? I don't believe in the high road.
Okay.
Gamer Hivemind apparently tweeted back to him, anyone I've ever spoken to, and that's plenty, Phil Fish has ever been associated with have nothing good to say about him, which is not true, which we'll get into later. But, I want you to apologize on camera. How would you react to this kind of shit if you were me? Consider it's been going on for years now. So basically what Phil's talking about is, since he got into the gaming industry, he has not had an easy time. Everyone's gotten on his case, whether it be Microsoft, the actual gamers,
poor guy
journalists.
just can't get a break.
Yeah, he can't get a break. Let's see what else. I'm being attacked constantly and I can't fight back, ever? Yeah, that seems fair. I fucking hate this industry. There's not a day that goes by that I don't fantasize about leaving it. But that would just make you happy, wouldn't it? I don't have to get off Twitter, I love Twitter, but it also invites so much ugliness into my life.
That's social media, dude.
I don't have anything to prove to you, I await your apology. I don't represent you or any other indies, I am my own man, that's kind of the whole point. Apparently Gamer Hivemind went off him again, and he got really pissed off at him. I don't think you realize how much this shit hurts. What did I ever do to you? Plus your beef with me wasn't even accurate. I wasn't snubbing journalists. I was waiting for the actual news to come out. So basically he's saying he didn't want to make a comment until more news had been released about the
Makes
policy.
sense. You don't want to make a comment when you're ill-informed.
Because of that, you decided to personally insult me and my work, and that causes me great pain. Which is not something I expect you to understand, but I want you to know that you hurt me. Everything he said was inaccurate. I was waiting for actual info to drop before commentating. I never physically threatened anybody, far less my ex. Oh, apparently there were rumors that these people started that he was his ex-girlfriend he assaulted or he abused. I don't know. But you're both confused. Saying fuck you does not a physical threat make. You're way out of line with this thing. Also, none of your fucking business. I find it disturbing that you think that Twitter is an appropriate venue for this shit. And then basically he got fed up with these people and he just rage quit everything. His last tweet...
He rage quit? What do you mean?
I'll get to that. His last tweet before he made his Twitter account private was, I'm done, Fez 2 is cancelled, goodbye. So after that, he came out and he said that he was cancelling Fez 2, that it would be no longer in development. He locked up his Twitter account, so no one can see it other than his followers. He basically just got so mad that he quit the industry.
God damn. Well,
basically, what I have here, I also have some other stuff. I have a screenshot of the post he put on the Polytron site. Fez 2 is cancelled. I am done. I take the money and I run. This is as much as I can stomach. This isn't the result of any one thing, but the end of a long, bloody campaign. You win. And then, afterwards, there was an official post on the Polytron Twitter. It's more formal. It's with a heavy heart that we announce that Fez 2 has been cancelled and is no longer in development. We apologize for the disappointment.
Fuck.
So basically, but then he came out and he said that he didn't cancel Fez 2 because of this. This wasn't the direct cause of the cancellation. He canceled Fez 2 because he was sick of the abuse he was getting while he was in the gaming industry.
They're making it so tough for the little guy.
Yeah.
Why is...
But really, I see most things from two sides. On one side, I agree. I think Phil's argument is well justified, where
He had every reason to get pissed.
He had every reason to get pissed. He did not deserve those words. And the fact that he just wanted to... He's one of the small percentage of people who just want to go out and make their own game without being corporate about it. Without getting like a publisher or without... having to listen to a higher up about your game. He just wanted to go out and he wanted to make something that was meaningful to him. So I think he had every right to get as mad as he did with these people, but also I think he kind of crossed the line in some places where
it's kind of a lose-lose.
Yes. It's like, on one hand, I completely agree with him. I completely justify why he got so mad, and I agree with him. I think you have every right to be mad if someone attacks your character like that. On the other hand, you have to, if you want to seem like a professional, you have to control yourself. Yeah. And I think that Phil, in some places, didn't do such a good job at that.
Do you see like Obama getting pissed off when he's doing a speech? No, he keeps his cool. He keeps to himself.
And seeing as how Phil Fish has made himself known for being the outspoken indie developer who doesn't give a shit about what people think, the fact that he got this mad
kind of says something.
Yeah. In some ways, he's a hypocrite. In some ways, he's very well justified. In some ways, he's just bringing more negative attention to himself.
It's almost like he kind of wanted publicity.
Yeah, and the fact that he would cancel his game after all of this, and I understand that he said that this wasn't the direct cause of Fez 2's cancellation.
So there's probably a lot of shit we don't know about.
Yeah, it's most likely, it's probably abuse from everyone. The journalists, the gamers, Microsoft. It's...
Why were the journalists giving him shit?
Because he wouldn't comment on the Xbox One indie policy.
Oh, right, sorry.
And he clearly stated that he didn't want to comment on it until more information was announced.
Now, being how, those big news things are, they want to sway, public opinion. We see that all the time with, whatever. But, so he made it very clear that, he would want to make a comment to those more info out. But, of course, the news agency there, what is it again?
Game Trailers.
Game Trailers. Yeah, of course, being how they are, they're just like, oh, he's a dick.
I don't know.
This is why I don't trust news.
Yeah, so there's so many sides to this story. None of them good, really.
Everybody's wrong. Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah, everybody is in the wrong on this. There is not one particular person who is more in the right than anyone else. Everyone involved is in the wrong here.
Yeah, you're all wrong. Fuck off and go smoke.
It's like, there's no way he could win here. Like, it's just like the culmination of all this abuse he's taken in his years in the gaming industry. He himself said that is the main reason why he canceled Fez 2. He just wanted to get out of games in general.
So what's he gonna do?
I don't know. He hasn't made any... Well, anyone who hasn't followed him... See, the thing about Twitter is when you make your account private, you can't follow them at will. You have to send a follow request and they have to accept it.
Yeah, I know.
So anyone who was not a follower of Phil Fish at the point he locked up his account cannot see anything at this point. Can't see any of his tweets, so no one knows. No one who isn't a follower of Phil Fish on Twitter has no idea what has happened since this. We have no idea if he's tweeted anything else, if he's given us any more details. We have no idea. So, basically, everyone's in the wrong here. So
this is just a complete...
Phil is in the wrong because in certain spots he went over the line and he should have controlled himself better. The media is in the wrong because they should have been more professional about the comments they made about him.
This is just a complete clusterfuck.
Yes. Also, Phil is in the wrong again because I think when you're in the limelight, as you are, when you're in the industry, you have to learn to deal with this stuff. And
you can't get all butthurt about it.
Yeah, you can't get all butthurt about people making comments about you. You can either do one of two things. You can either suck it up and become hardened by it, so you can deal with it better in the future.
And just accept the fact that anybody making those comments is probably some 13-year-old loser living in his parents' basement on a computer.
Yes.
On this thing. That's it. How is that threatening?
So you basically have to deal with it and
don't go drinking bleach.
Yeah, you have to deal with it and realize that it's not the end of your world. When you're in the industry, everyone's going to make comments about you. You just have to live with it and just keep going and prove them wrong. Exactly. Or you can do what Phil did here and just...
kind of be a dick about it.
In some spots, he was a dick about it.
Like, what did he... Hold on, let me see this for a second. What did he say? fuck?
I think it's on the first page. What? Compare your life to mine and kill yourself?
Yeah, that's kind of pushing it.
Yeah, that's definitely
Like-
crossing the line there. But so when you're in the industry, you can do one of two things. You can accept all the criticism you get. You can
Or just rage quit.
You can harness all of that criticism to make you stronger and prove everyone wrong and just keep going, or you can do what Phil did and just quit. Which also in his tweets he said, "Oh, you would like it if I quit the industry, huh? That would make you happy, right?" And then he quit anyway.
What a fucking
So
okay, so nobody wins. It's a lose-lose.
Nobody wins.
Fuck this.
But recently, Cliff Bleszinski, as we mentioned before, I think personally that Cliff is going indie. He wrote a personal letter to Phil Fish asking him to come back to the games industry. And I have the entire letter here, 3 pages.
You gonna read it?
I'm just gonna read it.
Okay, you better read it because I suck at reading out loud.
Dynamite Fishing, an open letter to Phil Fish. Dear Phil, we've hung out a few times and enjoyed some beverages and rather animated conversations together. I don't know you that well outside of those interactions. I found Fez to be a refreshing experience in a cheek retro way. You were doing that style before many others, which is a tiny bit hipster, sorry. And the fact that you were so much of the project reminds me of myself in the Jazz Jackrabbit era, which I assume is a previous game that he used to work on. Waking up every day, or in some instances the early afternoon, to sit right back down and stare at that PC as you paint your own mystery, pixel by pixel, line of code after line of code, can wear you down. Not to mention the sheer magnitude of legal bullshit involved in running your own legitimate business, as well as whatever the heck was going on with your old partner in Indie Game the Movie, which we've both seen and we both experienced.
That was a fucking cool movie.
I also know that when it comes to any form of journalism, be it a profile piece or a reality TV show or a documentary, the viewer or consumer only sees what the author wants them to see through their often very skewed lens. I've said before that I identify with your frustration at PAX showing off your baby for the first time. That pressure is only amplified when Pejat and your crew are sticking a camera in your face. Any grown person might act strange under that pressure. Right before the beer Twitter explosion, I saw that you acquired your Oculus Rift and your tweets about it were extremely exciting. I could only imagine what talented Nutty Phil would craft for a device that I believe in so much that I put my own fucking money into it. That's your disclaimer. I'd like to think that I know a good thing when I see it in life. Read this fantastic article on Giant Bomb on your situation and the internet in general. I personally have been called every name in the book. Even back in, 1999? When I made a website about scanning cats on a flatbed scanner. Look it up, folks. I exploited cats online before it was cool. I got hate mail that was insane. Someone telling me that I should have died in a gas chamber, assuming my last name was of Polish-Jewish heritage.
Oh, for fuck's sakes.
Only half right. My first time being flamed online happened when I was... Oh, shut up. My first time being flamed online happened when I was 15 on a BBS the summer my father died suddenly from heart issues. I was learning how to code and I wrote a simple screensaver, one of those dancing multicolored line programs. I released it to a BBS and someone anonymously posted, "Your dead father could have coded something better."
That's fucking harsh, man.
Yeah. I was furious, hurt, and I replied with an implied death threat. The website called my house and I got in trouble for the comment, but the damage was done. I went back to mowing my neighbor's 2-acre lawn with his shitty push mower for $10 and Bionic Commando. My skin started to thicken, as did my resolve to do something with my life. Never underestimate the intestinal fortitude of the anonymous loser hiding behind a monitor and his or her ability to sling vitriol at someone to willingly put themselves out there. The fact of the matter, Phil, is that you were trending worldwide on Twitter. How many game developers can say that? Does no one realize that while you may seem somewhat unstable at times, you also have Andy Kaufman as your Twitter AVI? Kids, Google Andy, and suddenly Phil might make much more sense to you. Or watch Man on the Moon. Never forget that the internet can be a fantastic thing. This statement basically sums everything up. Never forget that the internet can be a fantastic thing, but it can also be fantastically dumb.
Goddamn right.
Reddit is a wonderful community for finding out funny memes or random facts until they falsely accuse someone of being the Boston Bomber or go out of their way to protect the r/creepshots loser. And never forget that the internet can be one big game of telephone, amplified by anonymous, myopic monkeys jamming on keyboards who are so angry about their meatball sandwich.
That's actually very fucking true.
How do you think I feel when my wife reads a tweet to her that says, "Come sit on my face or you are a bitch"? Someone on Twitter asked me how to deal with haters. I have some experience on the subject for well over 20 years now. Blow says you can't, Jonathan Blow, the creator of Braid, Blow says you can't ignore it because by the time you've read the words, it's too late. The key with the idiots is to outwit them, because the idiots use hate and poor spelling and grammar.
Very fucking true as well.
Because the idiot does not know how to be witty. Watch what people like Ricky Gervais, how do you pronounce it? Ricky Gervais and Patton Oswalt do on Twitter. Heck, like him or not, even Piers Morgan is better at fending them off.
I have no idea who Piers Morgan is.
No idea. Every idiot that you outwit wins you 5 times the fans and that much more respect. The other key is to absorb all of that hate into one big fireball of motivation. This is exactly what I was saying. The other key is to absorb all of that hate into one big fireball of motivation inside your belly and then pour all of that energy into your work until you can unleash one big giant motherfucking Hadouken upon the community that wins awards and sells millions, and then the haters will truly be eating a giant bushel of dicks as you roll in a pile of money, acclaim, and community love. That's exactly what I was saying. You can either take all that criticism and turn it into motivation towards completing your project, or you can just quit.
Which is kind of what Phil Fish did.
Again, I have nothing but respect for Phil Fish. I am not criticizing Phil Fish at all. I think that Fez is one of the most refreshing experiences in the past, I'd say, decade of gaming. I think he's made one of the most beautiful games of all time. I have nothing but respect for this man and what he's gone through, but again, no one's in the right here.
This is a complete clusterfuck, to be honest.
Going back to Cliff's letter, you don't owe a damn thing to any game journalist. We've seen the rise of many Rush Limbaughs in the gaming industry. People who do videos or podcasts digging a finger into an open wound that gets the gaming community going because hits. You do owe a great product to your community, something I hope you'll resume doing sometime in the near future. The industry needs people like you to speak with their hearts before their brains because I'm tired of hearing the PR-approved appropriate response. I'm tired of games that feel like they've been developed by focus groups or clueless executives going, "Hey, that Call of Duty is big! We need one of those!" Besides, at the end of the day, that cycle of community feedback and crafting that big fireball is entirely too addictive. Come back, Phil. We miss you already. Maybe I'll be right behind you, returning with adamantium skin. Signed, Cliff Blazinski. So, huge news story this week in gaming. The fact that Phil Fish and Marcus Beer went to a head. Phil got so pissed that he basically quit the industry and canceled Fest 2. The fact that Cliff Blazinski personally wrote this letter to Phil Fish asking him to return. This entire situation is just a clusterfuck at this point.
Well, you gotta think though. So what's the Polish guy's name again?
Cliff Blazinski.
Cliff. Yeah, I think Cliff does have a good point. Honestly, executives tend to really fuck up games. Like, I have not played Fez. So I never got a chance to play it. So I unfortunately cannot speak for it yet. But from what I've been hearing, everybody just seems to feel it's like a complete breath of fresh air for how how the gaming world is. Because let's face it, this comes up a lot in our podcast, but games these days are all just here, go do this, shoot this guy in the head,
steal,
loot. I'm looking at you, Borderlands.
Borderlands poster off to the side.
Kill zombies, climb shit, pick up hookers. I'm just pointing to random posters around there. Undead Nightmare, GTA, Liberty City, Spider-Man. Is that even a game?
No, it's just a Spider-Man poster.
Well, climb shit. Assassin's Creed. But again, we're gonna be really liberally biased here, but it's so corporate these days that the little guy really does not have a chance.
They make it extremely hard for indies nowadays.
And they say it's easy.
Completely not fair.
Of course it's not.
An indie developer should have just as much of a chance to make their game successful as any AAA developer.
Like, how many units did Fez sell?
Well over 1 million.
That's pretty fucking good.
Yes.
And how many units does COD sell on its first day?
6 million.
That's bullshit. That's fucking bullshit.
Most bullshit I've ever seen in the industry.
Honestly, I think I'm not sure this is just because I'm getting older and I come from a very pessimistic family, but I am quickly losing faith in the video game industry and a lot of shit in general.
Mm-hmm.
Like
I see every day. I think I get a little more indie.
Every day, I think I become a little bit more suicidal. Not that I've ever been suicidal,
Wow.
but like, you know.
That's harsh.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're gonna wrap things up here real quick. Final thoughts on this whole Phil Fish fiasco.
Phil, come back, buddy. We need you.
I could not agree more. Phil.
If there's
I think that at this point Phil is just like fishing the internet looking for things about him. Just to see how
fish the internet.
just to see how people feel on the topic. But Phil, if you're watching this, you are one of the most talented developers we've seen in the last how many years of the gaming industry. We need more developers like you to save us from the mainstream COD bullshit.
Okay, because I don't want every game being jump on stuff, shoot stuff, climb stuff, kill stuff. Okay, if I have to deal with that by the time by the time I'm in my 30s. I will probably throw myself under a bus. Or just not game it at all, okay?
Phil, we want you to come back. We want to see Fez 2 see the light of day. But, really, no disrespect, but you have to learn to deal with the criticism and to control your statements. That's all I'm going to say. I have nothing but respect for Phil Fish, but I think he needs to have more self-control. I think he needs to be a little more professional and not like this, not just go off on everything. I think he needs
That was a little bit much. Like, don't get me wrong. I get pissed off just as easily as
he has every right in the world to get as mad as he did.
Exactly.
But I think that he needs to be a little more professional with his public statements, especially since it's on Twitter. Everyone's going to see it.
Yeah, true.
But I think he needs to become a little more professional, take some time to recuperate, get back in his mindset, and just realize that haters are always going to be there. You just have to take all of their criticism and all their hate and, like Cliff said, turn it into motivation that will eventually get your game out.
And again, if you think that douchebag from game trailers, if you're gonna let that get to you, remember this: he works for game trailers. Okay.
Mainstream.
Yeah. Okay. Honestly, that's like working for mainstream bullshit's just as below the low.
So
in my opinion.
Anyway, final statement.
Phil, dude, just go to Hawaii. Go to Thailand, pick up a hooker or something like that. Just do something to get your mind off it. Go to fucking Florida. Go to Cuba. Cuba's nice. Just do something to get your mind off it. Just take it easy for a while. I think he'll be back.
Yes.
And dude, come back, okay? We need you, buddy.
Phil, I have nothing but the utmost respect for you. I think that you need to take a little time off, catch your breath, think about it, and if he finally has that self-realization that the haters are going to be there no matter what, and if he finally realizes that he has to deal with it and then turn that into motivation,
he'll be back.
He'll be back. He'll definitely be back. If he comes to his senses and realizes that it's going to be there no matter what, he'll be back and Fez 2 will be back in development.
Oh,
I hope that happens, but Phil, you got to realize you were in the wrong too here. Again, nothing but respect for you, but I think that you need to become a little more professional with your public statements. You need to control yourself a little more on social media. And if you can manage that, and if you can take all the haters' hate and just
turn it into a fucking Hadouken.
Yeah, turn it into a Hadouken and make Fez 2, to put the middle finger to all the mainstream assholes, you will be back, you will be stronger than ever, and people will respect you that much more. And with that, we're wrapping up here. Riley, anything else you want to say?
I got nothing, man. I'm fucking drained.
Yeah, I'm
Honestly,
drained too.
I'm losing my faith in video gaming.
This was, I think, the biggest story we've ever covered on the show. This was just insane.
How long are we going on? Hour and a half.
Yeah, just over an hour and a half. So, we're going to wrap things up here on Bearded Banter. I am the Bearded One.
Sayonara, everybody.
Come
back, Phil.
This is Random Richard. Phil Fish, come back, please.
Okay, if I have to deal with one more Call of Duty game, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm out of ways to kill myself, hypothetically. That's saying something.
Just live in Vice City.
Yeah, true.
Live in Liberty City. But anyway, we're going to wrap things up here. Keep on gaming, everyone. We'll see you next week.